The sun was just rising over the sleepy town of Nandapur. Birds chirped gently, and the narrow streets slowly filled with the sound of schoolchildren in polished shoes, swinging backpacks over their shoulders. Among them was Amara, a quiet girl with sharp eyes and a heart that noticed things others missed. St. Mary's Academy stood tall and proud at the edge of the main road. It was the kind of school with big gates, white walls, and strict rules. The head of it all was Principal Sharma, a serious man who believed that order came from fear and respect, not kindness. In Class 7B, there was a boy who didn't quite fit in. His name was Ravi. His uniform was always a little too short, his shoes scuffed and old. While the other kids brought lunch in bright, colorful boxes, Ravi brought simple food wrapped in foil, sometimes just dry rotis and a bit of salt. Most of the kids ignored him. Some laughed behind his back. A few teachers treated him like he didn't matter. But Amara noticed something different about him. He never spoke much, but he always listened carefully. He answered questions right, even when his voice shook. And once, when Amara dropped her pencil box, he was the only one who helped pick up every piece. Ravi always sat at the last bench. He carried his books in a plastic bag. He never caused trouble, but it felt like he was always in trouble anyway. One chilly morning, Ravi looked extra tired. His hair was messy, and his eyes red. Principal Sharma walked into the class for a surprise visit. When he checked Ravi's notebook, he frowned. "This homework is missing," he snapped. I'm sorry, sir," Ravi stammered. "My mother was sick last night. I had to." "No excuses," the principal said coldly. "You poor children always find ways to avoid responsibility." The class fell silent. Ravi looked down at his hands, gripping the edge of his desk. "You don't belong in this school," Mr. Sharma said sharply, his voice rising. "We don't run a charity here." Amara's heart beat faster. She felt the unfairness hit her like a cold wave. Ravi had never done anything wrong. Why did Mr. Sharma talk to him like that? That afternoon, whispers spread through the hallways. "Did you hear? Ravi's been expelled.
He's gone for good."
The principal called his mother this morning. Amara sat frozen in her seat, staring at Ravi's now empty desk. No one else seemed to care. Some even laughed, saying things like "one less beggar in the class." Amara remembered seeing Ravi outside the school gate that morning. He'd been waiting, holding a crumpled slip of paper, maybe a fee reminder or a note from home. He had looked nervous, hopeful. Now he was gone. That night, Amara couldn't sleep. She stared at the ceiling, feeling a deep sadness in her chest. She had never spoken much to Ravi, but she had seen the good in him, the way he helped others quietly, the way he tried so hard even when no one noticed. And now, because he was poor, he had lost his place in the school. The next day, the classroom looked the same. But to Amara, everything had changed. The next few days at school felt strange to Amara. Ravi's desk was still empty, but his name tag hadn't been removed. Some students joked about it, others simply moved on, but for Amara, the silence where his voice used to be felt heavy. During lunch, she looked at the spot under the tree where Ravi used to sit alone. Now it was just a patch of dry grass. She could still picture him there, chewing slowly, staring at his book while everyone else played. He had always kept to himself, but now that he was gone, Amara noticed how much his quiet presence had meant. She couldn't stop thinking about the way Principal Sharma had shouted at him. It was harsh. Too harsh. Ravi wasn't a bad student. In fact, he was smarter than most of the class. He just didn't have the things others had: clean shoes, expensive notebooks, or parents who could donate to school events. That weekend, Amara told her parents what had happened. "He was expelled?" her mother asked, surprised. "Just for missing homework?" Amara nodded. "He said his mom was sick. He looked really tired." Her father frowned. "That doesn't sound right," but even with their concern, nothing changed. No one called the school. No one asked the principal any questions. Amara felt helpless. Grown-ups said things like, "That's sad," or "life isn't fair," but they never tried to fix anything. Back at school, Mr. Sharma walked the halls like always. He smiled at rich parents during pickup time and praised students who wore fancy watches. Amara watched him closely now. She saw how he gave warm smiles to the children of doctors and businessmen, but barely nodded at those who came in worn clothes. One day, during math class, Amara dropped her pencil. It rolled all the way to the back of the classroom. She looked toward the last row, and for a second she expected Ravi to be there, ready to hand it back. But the seat was still empty. Her chest tightened. She missed him. Not just his face, but the way he had made her feel like she wasn't the only one who saw how unfair things could be. Sometimes when she passed the school gate, she thought she saw someone standing near it, a small figure in old clothes. A memory, a shadow.
Word.
She wondered where Ravi had gone. Did he go to another school? Was he still studying, or had he given up? Years passed, students came and went. Amara grew older, moving on to higher classes, then college. But she never forgot Ravi, not when she walked past the tree where he ate lunch. Not when she saw kids being treated differently because of how they looked or what they had. She promised herself something that day, quietly, secretly. If I ever get a chance to help someone like Ravi, I won't turn away. And though Ravi was gone, his story stayed with her like a stone in her pocket, small but heavy, and always there. 10 years later, the gates of St. Mary's Academy still stood tall, but the school wasn't as grand as it used to be. The paint was peeling in places, and some classrooms had broken fans or squeaky chairs. Parents whispered that the school was running out of money. Fewer students were enrolling. Some said the principal was looking for someone to buy the school. Amara had grown up, just like everyone else. But instead of leaving the town behind, she had come back. She was now a teacher at St. Mary's Expelled, teaching language and helping students who struggled with reading. Some teachers were surprised to see her return. "Why come back here?" they asked. Amara would just smile, because someone needs to care. One warm afternoon, a notice was placed on the school board. Important announcement. A special guest and investor will be visiting the school. All staff and senior students must attend the welcome ceremony. The teachers whispered about it. Maybe it's a politician's son, or a businessman from the city. They say he's rich and young, and wants to give the school money. Amara wasn't very interested, until the day came. The whole school gathered outside. A red carpet was laid out. Students held small flags and flowers. Principal Sharma stood near the steps, his coat freshly ironed, his face proud. He didn't look like a man who had once pushed a poor boy out of school for a missed homework. A black car rolled up the driveway and stopped. The door opened slowly, and out stepped a tall man in a clean black suit. He wore dark sunglasses and had neatly combed hair. Everyone leaned forward to get a better look. Amara's heart skipped a beat. It was Ravi. He looked different, stronger, more confident, but it was him. The same quiet boy from Class 7B. The one who sat in the back. The one who was thrown out for being too poor. Amara froze. She wasn't sure if she was dreaming. She watched Ravi walk calmly toward the front steps. Principal Sharma stretched out his hand with a wide grin. "Welcome to St. Mary's Expelled, Mr. Ravi Sharma," he said loudly. Ravi removed his sunglasses slowly, looked straight at the principal's face and paused. For a second, it seemed like time stood still. "Hello, Principal Sharma," he said quietly. "It's been a while." There was a strange silence in the air. Some teachers shifted nervously. Amara could feel the memory of that old classroom rushing back. Ravi standing, holding his notebook, being told he didn't belong. Principal Sharma's smile faded just a little. Yes, you were one of our students, weren't you?" "I was," Ravi said, his voice even. "But only for a short time." He turned and looked at the crowd. His eyes stopped when they reached Amara. For the first time since arriving, his face softened. He gave a small, grateful smile, one that only she understood. Amara felt something deep inside her move. The boy who had once been thrown out for being poor was now the man who had come to save the school, and no one had expected it. Everyone sat quietly in the school auditorium. Teachers filled the front rows. Students whispered behind their hands. Principal Sharma stood stiffly near the stage, looking unsure for the first time in years. Ravi walked up to the podium, carrying nothing but a piece of folded paper. He unfolded it, looked at the crowd, then placed it aside. He didn't need notes. "I want to tell you a story," he began. His voice was calm, steady. "Years ago there was a boy who came to this school. He didn't have much. His shoes were worn, his uniform second-hand, and his lunch was plain. But he loved learning. He tried hard. He thought that maybe, just maybe, this school would open a door for him." Amara watched as every student leaned in to listen. One day, after a long night of helping his sick mother, that boy forgot to finish his homework. Instead of being helped, he was shouted at. Instead of being guided, he was thrown out. The principal told him he didn't belong. Ravi looked directly at Mr. Sharma. The principal's face had gone pale. "That boy was me," Ravi said. Gasps filled the room. "For a long time I believed him. I believed I wasn't good enough. I believed I didn't belong anywhere, but somehow I kept going. I worked hard. I cleaned shop floors during the day and studied at night. I taught myself from second-hand books. People helped me, people who saw something in me." He turned his head slowly, his eyes finding Amara. "Sometimes all it takes is a kind word or a smile to keep someone going. I remember those small kindnesses. I never forgot them." Amara felt tears burn in her eyes. "I'm not here to take revenge," Ravi said, now looking back at the crowd. "I'm not here to embarrass anyone. I'm here because I want to make sure no child is ever made to feel the way I did." Some students clapped softly. Teachers looked at each other, unsure what to say. "I will be donating enough money to repair this school," he continued. "But more than that, I'm starting a scholarship for students from low-income families. Kids like the one I used to be." The applause grew louder. Mr. Sharma stepped forward awkwardly, trying to speak. Mr. Sharma, you must understand, I was only doing what I thought was best for the school." Ravi's face was calm, but firm. "You taught me a lesson, sir. A painful one, but not the one you think. You taught me how I never wanted to treat others. I don't need your apology. What I needed back then was a chance." Mr. Sharma looked down, silent. Amara felt her heart swell. She could see it clearly now. The boy who once sat at the back of the class had grown into someone strong, someone kind. After the assembly, Ravi walked toward her. He smiled. "You remembered me," he said gently. "I never forgot," Amara replied, her voice soft. They stood quietly for a moment. Then, as more students gathered around him, Ravi turned and began shaking their hands, listening to their dreams. He had come back not just to fix a building, but to open the doors that had once been slammed shut in his face. Months passed and the school began to change. Fresh paint covered the old walls. New desks arrived for classrooms. A reading corner was set up in the library. The fans and lights finally worked properly, and the playground got cleaned and painted. Students who once stayed quiet began smiling more. Something felt different now. Hope had returned. And at the center of it all was Ravi. His scholarship program gave poor students free uniforms, books, and lunch. The school started accepting children from nearby villages who had never had a chance to study before. Ravi didn't just write checks. He came to visit every week. He sat with the kids. He asked about their homework. He listened when they talked about their families. Amara watched all of it with quiet pride. One day, Principal Sharma quietly stepped down. No big speech, no farewell party. He just left. A new principal came, someone warm, who believed in second chances. The kind of person who would never turn away a child for not having enough money. One afternoon, as the sun dipped low and shadows stretched across the playground, Amara and Ravi sat on a bench near the big neem tree. "I used to eat lunch there," Ravi said, pointing to the tree's roots. "Alone most of the time." Amara nodded. "I remember, you always shared your lunch with the stray dog that came near the fence." Ravi laughed softly. He was the only one who sat with me. They sat in silence for a few moments, watching children run by, laughing and chasing a ball. Thank you, Ravi said suddenly. For being kind, back then, I noticed. Amara felt her throat tighten. I wish I had done more. You did enough. That smile, that one small smile, kept me going longer than you know. That evening, as they stood by the school gate, a small boy walked slowly toward them. His shirt was too big, and his shoes didn't match. He looked scared, like he didn't know if he belonged there. Amara recognized the look in his eyes. He stood near the gate, unsure if he should go in. Other kids ran past him without noticing. Then without a word, Ravi walked over to the boy and knelt down. He gently tied the boy's untied shoelace and smiled. First day, he asked. The boy nodded shyly. You're going to be just fine, Ravi said, standing up. Come on, let's go inside. Amara watched as the boy's face changed, his fear melting into surprise, then into a small hopeful smile. She looked around at the school, the classrooms filled with students from all walks of life, the bright murals on the walls, the happy voices echoing through the halls. This was no longer the same school that had once pushed a boy out for being poor. It was something new, something better, and it had all started with a boy who didn't belong, until he came back and made a place for everyone. If this story moved you, share your thoughts in the comments. Let us know how you feel about fairness, second chances, and the power of kindness. Like the story if it inspired you, and subscribe for more meaningful stories that show how small actions can create big change.